Hey, what is up, fellow Raiders? This is Vulcan Dan, and we are on my main account right now because we are going to be talking about the special spider tournament that will happen in a few days. Right here, if you look at the news section, we have the Telerian summon draft. There is one paragraph here that talks about that special spider tournament that will happen on July 19. You will only be able to use champions from factions that are part of the Telerian Alliance. So this times 10 event right here also helps you out with the spider tournament. All of these champions right here are very solid champions for that special event that we will have in a few days. All right, so I just want to talk about the top 15 non-legendary champions from these factions. All right, so we have the Bannerlords, High Elves, Sacred Order, and Barbarians. You can only use these four factions for that special spider tournaments. All right, so starting with Bannerlords. All right, so of course this is a free-to-play friendly advice right here. So if you have some legendary champions, most of these will be good, of course, to fit in. But if you don't have those, we still have a lot of good epics, some rares, and even some uncommon champions that can really help you out with the spider dungeon. All right, so we have for Bannerlords, actually a very good champion, a very good all-around champion is, of course, Stag Knight. He has a decreased speed on his A1 and decreased defense and decreased attack on his A2. And all of those are very helpful for fighting against the spider. All right, so very simple champion, but solid all around. And this A2 can be booked to a 3-turn cooldown, so you can be sure that you have this AoE decreased defense and decreased attack up at all times. All right, so another one from the same faction is Archmage Helmut. So you can get him for free if you are constantly participating in the Doom Tower. You can get him from the secret rooms. You can collect fragments from the secret rooms to eventually be able to summon Archmage Helmut, and he's another solid champion. He has a turn meter fill in his A1, a stun in his A2, which would be helpful for the spiderlings. You want those spiderlings to stay stunned. He also has a decreased turn meter in his A2, and increased speed, increased crit rate, and increased crit damage in his A3. So a solid champion for the spider, but also for any other content in the game. All right, so another one for the spider is Ursala the Mourner, because for the spider you would need a solid reviver. It would be most of the time you would have a champion or two fall because of the spiderlings with their poisons or the AoE from the spider. So Ursala the Mourner is a solid reviver with her A3 right here. Revives all dead allies with 75% HP and with the increased defense and strengthen. So Ursala, there was an event just a few days ago or a few weeks ago wherein you can get her for free if you summon a certain number of void shards. So if you're able to get her, she's a very solid champion. She also has a decreased turn meter on her A1 and decreased attack on her A2. So all of these skills are solid for the spider. One relatively new champion is Giscard. Not the best, but he has this A2 that has an AoE provoke, which is good CC for the spiderlings. So this would be a very good skill to keep the spiderlings from attacking your squishy champion right there. So, and also the decreased attack to keep yourself from getting hit hard from the main spider's AoE attack. So also a nice increased defense and increased attack on his A3. So very solid champion right here, Giscard. For the rare, not much here, but if you have Dagger, not the best option, but Also has a decreased turn meter on her A1, and there's a decreased attack on her A3 and an AoE decreased defense on her A2. There are, of course, if you have the epics, you should go with those, but if you do not, then dagger can be another option for you. All right. And of course, just to briefly shout out, if you have any of these legendary champions, so of course, a lot of these are solid for the spider. Raglan, of course, can revive. And we have Septimus right here, which I don't have, has that big nuke for the spider if you're doing spider 20 and above. I mean, and below. So yeah, so Septimus would be a good nuker if you have him. All right, and Cethalia as well has some turn meter control and an HP burn on her A1. So those are some good legendary champions for the Bannerlords. High Elves. A lot of good champions here. Of course, we have to talk about Royal Guard. Now, because of the update that we had a few, I think it was about a few months ago now, Royal Guard is not as good as he was before with the newer dungeon levels from levels 21 to 25. But if you're doing 20 and below, Royal Guard is still a solid champion to use because of his where's that? A2 right here. Takedown, AoE, big nuke, damage based on enemy max HP. So that would of course destroy the main spider and also the spiderlings along with it. Also, not to be do not forget that he also has a decreased defense and decreased speed with his other attacks. So all of these are solid skills for the champion. So Royal Guard, he was one of the most sought after champions before, has fallen off a bit, but still quite solid if you have him. We also have Tyrell, one of the OG champions. Used to be one of the top epics in the game. Right now, he's still solid, but not talked about as much as before. He has a decreased attack on his A1, decreased defense on A2, and this decreased turn meter on his A3. All right, so all very solid skills, and of course, do not forget his aura, which is a very flexible aura that is useful in a lot of the content, which is increased defense in all battles by 25%. So Tyrell, he might be one of the older, not exciting champions, but he's still solid in today's content. And for the rares, of course, we have our trusty apothecary right here with his increased speed and of course his heals. So of course, if you have apothecary, also a very solid champion to use. For legendaries, if you have, of course, if you have finished your missions, Arbiter is a solid champion to use, especially with the revives, because most of the time your champions might fall because of the poisons. Royal Huntsman is also another hard hitter with his A3, which ignores all defense. So that's also a big nuke, and also his AoE decrease defense as well. Lysandra, also another solid turn meter control champion, which is, I think she's probably the best turn meter control champion in the whole game. So yes, Lysandra is another one that is awesome. And you can basically use any legendary if you have them for this event. These are all solid. Shirimani has that AoE freeze. So yeah, so if you have any of these legendaries, they're pretty much very useful for the spider. Now moving on to the Sacred Order, and we're going for the MVP, of course, of the spider, which is Mordecai with his AoE. There you go, AoE HP burn, 100% chance. So of course, if you have Mordecai, then you should feel good about yourself because Spider will be a breeze for you. He also has this decreased turn meter in his A1, decreased turn meter in his A2. So his entire kit is really all about Spider. Even has an aura that is a perfect fit for the spider, which is increase ally accuracy in all battles by 40%. So excellent, excellent. Probably one of the best spider champions in the whole game. All right. One of the new champions that a lot of people love, of course, Deacon Armstrong with his Leech A1, decreased defense A2, and of course the turn meter fill in his A3, of course, with the grant an extra turn, and the speed aura. So if you have Deacon, also another great champion to use for this special spider tournament. And of course, everyone's favorite uncommon champion is Armiger, because he has the decreased turn meter in his A1 and the big smack in his A2 with the damage based on enemy max HP. So, and he's also defense based, so of course doesn't fall easily. So yeah, so if you have Armiger, another good champion to use for the spider. All right, and of course we have to talk about the legendary. So if you have someone like Sir Nick, who would help you out with heals and shielding. Who else? This guy here, Astralon, also good. But for me, I have built him out to nuke. And if you're doing an HP burn strat, you don't want people to nuke. You want to keep the spiderlings alive. But his AoE stun is also very good for the spiders. But you might have to change his gear a bit if you built him to nuke down. All right, so oh wait, we have one more right here. Venus deserves a special shout out here because of her HP burn AoE, but it's only a 75% chance. So Mordecai is actually better, even though he is an epic champion, because his HP burn is 100%. So yeah, so Venus, one of the older champions that we have in the game, still very good, but yeah, I would still probably use Mordecai if I have him over Venus. All right, and we also go. So yeah, so let's go to the Barbarians. A lot of good champions here. Armina with her stun on, there you go, A3 AoE stun, and her decreased defense right here. Yeah, so one of the newer champions in the recent update, also a very solid champion for the spider. We have one of the free champions, Haikatun, with her where's that, there you go, fill the turn meter of all allies by 15% with the increased speed, and her aura, which is in all battles of increased ally speed by 19%. So another solid champion, which all of you will have if you've been playing the game for 30 days. She's a free champion. All right, we also have a rare Soulbond Bowyer, because she's if you look at her kit, it's very similar to Coldheart. And you can't use Coldheart in this special spider tournament because, of course, Coldheart belongs to another faction. And here we have the 75% chance, book to 100, fully depleting the target's turn meter. And we have the big smack right here, ignore 75% of the target's defense. And you can build her up to only 75% crit, because all of her skills give that extra 25% crit, and her aura also gives you extra crit. So you can, if you're really trying to go for as to put as little crit rate in her as possible, you can build her with 63%, and she would still have 100% crit rate because of her skills and her aura. But of course, that's a little more difficult to build around. But yeah, Soulbond is another solid champion for the spider. And let's see, what else do we have here? We have, oh yeah, one of the uncommon champions, Zephyr Sniper. There's a lot of videos going around about how good this champion is for the spider, mainly because of her AoE A1. You can equip her with lifesteal gear. It will help her keep alive, and she will serve as your spiderling tank. All of the spiderlings are supposed to go attack her, and but if you're planning on using her, she can be quite heavy on the gear, because you need high speed, you need high defense, you also need high resistance to make sure that she doesn't die from the poisons. So yeah, so if you want to play around with Zephyr Sniper, you can, but make sure that you gear her properly. Okay, and of course, let's go to the legendaries. And if you've been playing the game for enough days, you will get this legendary champion, Seal of the Drakes, which is a great champion all around, but also excellent for the spider with her decreased turn meter in her A1, with the decreased speed, the AoE stun in her A2, and the revive in her A3. All three of these skills are excellent for the spider. You want to stun the spiderlings, you want a revive in case someone goes down, you want to keep the spider slow and decrease the turn meter of the spider, and also her passive helps keep your entire team alive as well. So excellent if you have her, if she's a free champion if you've been playing the game for enough days. I think, how many days is it? I think she's 6 months if I remember correctly. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look, or let's try these champions out. Let's take them out for a spin. Let's try them out in Spider 25. All right. So let's keep it by faction. Let's see. Mordecai. Well, yeah, let's use Ursula right here. Helmut. Who else? First let's do an HP burn strat for Spider 25, because that's the fastest one. We can use Mordecai as the lead because of his aura right there. And who else? Let's get a healer. Healer. Apothecary, alright? We can also use Syl. So I think this is quite free to play friendly. No legendaries here except for Syl, who is a free legendary champion. We have Apothecary, we have Archmage, which you can get from the Doom Tower. We have Ursula, which if you participated in the event a few weeks ago, you can get her for free as well. So the most difficult champion to get here is Mordecai. So yeah, he was part of a fusion event before as one of the epics for the fusion. But yes, if you were able to pull him, or if you just didn't go for that legendary fusion and just stopped at the epics, then he would be one of the good champions to use here. All right, so it's also we have to note that there are only 3 AoE HP burn champions that are allowed in this special spider tournament. One of them is this guy right here. The other 2 are legendary champions. One is Venus, the other one is Elder Skarg from the Barbarian faction. But among those 3, Mordecai is still the best HP burn champion out of those 3. So he's really the MVP for this event. All right, so let's take these guys for a roll and see how we do. All right, so of course, if you do not have an AoE HP burn, you might need to go for a nuke strat. That would have a totally different team, which we can try that out a bit later. But if you're going for the nuke strat, you might have to go down to Spider 20, because of course there's this new mechanic in dungeons 21 to 25, wherein the enemy max HP skills will only go to 10% of the boss's total HP. So it's not as impactful as before. So if you want to go for those nuke strats, you have to use, or you have to do Spider 20 or below. All right, so we have their Archmage, which with his AoE stun keeps the Spiderling CC there. We have the HP burn on everyone. Apothecary making sure we're going fast, and of course with those extra heals. All right, decreased turn meter by Mordecai. Ursula is there to make sure that we're all alive if in case anyone falls down. Okay, we have decreased speed, decreased attack on the boss to make sure that this keeps our entire team alive. So as you can see here, my team is basically at full health this entire time because we have Syl, which with her heals every single turn. We have Apothecary, we have Archmage to make sure they're all stunned, and the Syl also does the stun as well. And of course, Ursula is right there to make sure, you know, we to decrease the turn meter of the boss. I think all of these champions right here have a decreased turn meter except for Apothecary. So yeah, so the spider is having a hard time getting a turn. Okay, so Archmage is getting some hits right there with the poisons. If he dies, we have Syl and Ursula to revive him. All right, finished in 2 minutes 19 seconds. All right, good. Now, if you don't have an AoE HP burn, we can also go to Spider 20 instead. Let's try out a different strategy here. Of course, you're going to have to use Royal Guard. All right, so he's your big nuker right here. You can use Septimus if you have him, or you can use multiple Royal Guards. We need a decreased defense, decreased attack. Okay, so we have Stag Knight. Let's use Ursula as well to revive. We can use Armiger here because now we have the they're both spirit. We couldn't use him in Spider 25 because of the affinity. We can use Syl. Okay, yeah. So this would be your team if you are using a nuke strat and don't have an AoE HP burn. Royal Guard would be your main champion here. Syl and Ursula will revive if someone falls down. And this guy right here, Armiger, can help decrease turn meter, and Stag Knight will keep decrease attack and decrease defense on. So yeah, let's take a look at how this goes. I haven't done Spider 20 in a long time because yeah, I've been trying to get more good like rings, banners from Spider 25. So of course that's the best place to farm. But if you're looking for tournament points and not really like you don't really care about getting the best of the best gear, then Spider 20 would be your best level to grind. Spider 20 still gives you the best tournament points per energy spent. Okay, right, so AoE stuns. Okay. Decrease defense, decrease attack on everyone. We have the three most important debuffs on the spider right now: decrease attack, decrease defense, and decrease speed. Of course, we don't have the HP burn right now, but all of those are important. So yeah, so either Ursula or Syl will revive our faithful uncommon champion right there. Come on, revive him. We need the revive. All right. There you go. All right. Okay. So yeah, so this is why you need you need 1 or 2 revive champions. Stag Knight went down again. There you go. So we have I think Ursula might be the best AoE reviver in the whole game because apart from the revive, she gives you strengthen and what was that? Strengthen and she also boosts turn meter. She also has some increased defense. So not only does she revive you, but she also keeps you alive. All right. So yeah. So this one's taking a while. We only have one nuker here, which is Royal Guard. So yeah, so the HP burn is definitely the better strategy here if you have Mordecai. If not, um, Venus will do if you happen to pull her. She is a void, so that's quite difficult. Elder Scarg as well if you happen to be lucky and pull Elder Scarg. But Elder Scarg requires a lot of things for the AoE HP burn to happen. Requires at least 3 debuffs on the spider for that AoE HP burn to proc. Alright. So yeah, let's let this play out, and when this is done, I will get back to you. Alright, and we're back. So we finished in 4 minutes and 9 seconds. Not too bad, but of course not as good as the HP burn strat. Let me move myself here so you can see Royal Guard's damage 12 million. Okay, so of course he is your MVP in this kind of strategy. But Spider's Den is usually where most players struggle. It is not an easy dungeon at all, so you do need very specific champions, but of course you can finish the lower levels with other champions if you do not have these. So yeah, so I hope you enjoy this kind of content. I will continue to do more free-to-play friendly content in the future. I have been a free-to-play account for almost 2 years now, and I just thought of sharing these tips to you, especially, you know, we have this special spider tournament coming up, so I hope you found these very useful. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.